This video is sponsored by Belroy. Well, good evening this time and welcome to Tokyo yet again. We are currently in Ueno. When I say we, it's me and Aaron who's over there. He spotted something. In this video I'll be using what in my opinion is Fujifilm's second most popular lens, which is this, the 56 f1.2. This lens has, again, a pretty cult following within the Fujifilm world. Now this particular one is the latest weather sealed one. However, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe all the internals and the glass and all of that is the same. Now I've never actually used this lens before, it's my first time. I didn't even mean to buy it, however I managed to find it at such an insane price that I could buy it, use it, and if I don't like it, sell it back at home and get all my money back. So I figured this is probably the best opportunity where I can try this lens for a longer period of time. So initial impressions, I'm not sure, I must say, but I'll talk more about that as the video progresses. As for the plan, we're gonna, as I've said, start here in Ueno and then head towards Shimbashi and then towards Shibuya, Shinjuku, and just shoot into the night. One cool thing about shooting in these areas is that you have loads of traditional food places that are all grilling and frying and all sorts, and you get all the smoke just pouring straight out. And it does stink, I must admit. However, it adds a nice bit of haze. So here it doesn't really do much, but in a busier place with more lights, more people, more things going on, this will really make a photo a bit nicer. So one of the first things I do when shooting at night is find areas that have a lot of lighting. So in Tokyo, it's your Shibuyas, Shimbashis, and where we are now. I mean, not right here because there's nothing, but where we're going. And the reason for it is because you need light. Without light, you don't have a photo. And sometimes it's even easier to shoot at night because the light sources are repeatable, they're predictable. You can just go to the same areas and work the same spots. So that's all we're going to do today, is find light, go towards that light and see if we can find something interesting to shoot. Another favourite of mine at night is reflections. Reflections can amplify any light sources and give you some nice abstract opportunities, especially when shooting at longer focal lengths. However, there's nothing here, so we will move on. Oh, there's a guy sitting right there with a cigarette. Come on, come on, come on. Take it. So focus, lock, take. Now in terms of the photos I'm going for tonight, honestly I'm going for all the stereotypical cliche night shots. It's the first time I'm properly using this lens at night. I've used it in the day a couple of times, but this is a first for me. So I'm shooting everything at f1.2 and I am using, what have we got here? Minimum shutter speed of 1/100, ISO between 500 and 6400, and general exposure minus 0.6. There's a chef walking around in the white hat, and when there is no one around, you could probably see he sticks out from the background quite well. So using a f1.2, all the people sitting down will be blurred out and he will be in perfect focus with the nice background. So I think this has some potential. He's just gone back out of the way, but I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. Alright, and we're done with Ueno. Now we're going to the station, which is just right there, getting on the train and going to Shimbashi. Did a couple of loops of the area, got 1 or 2 good shots I think. So happy with that. Off to Shimbashi. Woo! That's a fancy taxi this. Oh, fuck. Well, we've made it to Shimbashi. So far we've just done a couple of loops, and I've got one shot I'm really happy with, maybe a couple which are okay. You should have seen them by now, or you might see them in a minute depending how I edit all of this. So Shimbashi is a very small area. It's predominantly a nightlife area. Not my favorite place, but it's great to shoot at night. So a couple of loops around here, then back on the train and heading towards Shinjuku, Shibuya way. Overall, it's a very similar kind of atmosphere to yeno, or I can't remember. But it's a bit more chill, less people, and also just more pleasant, I think. Yeah. That's a really nice texture on the window. Right. Yeah, you're done. Smoky alleyway. Yeah, that's over. Yeah. Go ahead that way. Alright. How's your Tokyo experience?
This is fun.
Well, that was an experience. And just like that, we've landed in Shinjuku, also known as Hell on Earth. I personally can't stand these areas of Tokyo. I find them very sleazy, just not very pleasant. However, for night photography, they are quite good because there's a lot going on, there's a lot of lights, it's like a Soho of London, let's just put it that way, right? So we're going to walk around, find some narrow streets, shoot here for a bit. I'm not sure how long my patience will last. Normally it doesn't last very long in these places, but we'll see anyway. So let's go have a grand Shinjuku. Well, if you like your cars, this is the place to be. The sleaziness levels are going up. We've been offered various things. I'm not going to say what they are. For some reason, many blogs and just general advice is if you're coming to Tokyo for the first time, to stay in Shinjuku or in Shibuya. That is literally the worst advice ever. Definitely would not recommend staying here, especially if it's your first time. You will hate it unless you're literally coming to Tokyo to get drunk and visit certain establishments. If that's the case, by all means come here, but otherwise avoid. So right now we made it to a place called Golden Guy, which is basically a collection of small little bars where everyone just sits around and gets drunk. Mind you, the guy on the boat's quite cool. Didn't have time to start recording with this one. I had to move quite quickly, but it's probably one of my favourite shots from this spot at the moment. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can see it. That's quite cool. That reflection's quite cool. There's so many people. There we go. There we go. There we go. Very good. Wow, that's cool. Now time for a quick pause to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Belroy. But rather than going for an ad read, let me instead show you what I've been traveling with for the last year. Everything you see in front of me is what I take with me on pretty much all of my trips, especially my long duration trips. So let's quickly go through it and we will start here. This is the trusty 10-litre camera sling. I've gone through this before in various videos, and this also acts as a camera cube on travel days by fitting into the backpack. Moving on is the Belroy 2.5-litre small sling, and this is what I keep with me on travel days or if I just don't want anything in my pockets. Typically I'll have my passport, wallet and anything else that's important. It's also big enough to fit a small point and shoot like an X100 or a Ricoh. There's also a couple of Belroy organizer pouches, so this one I keep for my electronics and this one is for toiletries. Moving on to the main bag, and this is the 40-litre duffel. It looks small, it weighs absolutely nothing, and it can fit all of my clothes and accessories and even have room to spare for pretty much unlimited travel in most climates. And last but not least is this, which is a Belroy Venture 26-litre backpack. Now I must admit this is the new version, which is more travel focused. It's got a luggage pass through, it's got a hidden compartment for a folding tote like this. However, I've been using the older version of this bag for coming up to a year now, and it's again traveled with me pretty much everywhere. To check out what Belroy has to offer and for 10% off, check out the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Belroy for sponsoring. Well, it's now 2 weeks later and I realized that I forgot to do the outro and talk about the lens itself, so let's do that now. What do I think of the 56 f1.2 overall? Well, let's start with image quality, and it's fantastic. It's probably the best image quality that I've seen out of a Fuji lens, maybe apart from the 90 or the new f1.4 primes. They're very good as well, but the image is insane, really, really good. One thing that I found very annoying, and well, to the point where I'm even considering getting rid of it because I just find it irritating, and that is how slow the autofocus is, because fundamentally the body and the motor, the body's different, it's weather sealed and it's more modern, but the internals, so the autofocus motors, are the same, and it's a huge piece of glass that it needs to move. And I mean, it's a night and day difference between, let's say, the f2 prime, which is a much more modern lens in terms of the autofocus motors, and then if you compare it to the linear motors in the 33 and the 23, the difference is insane. So that's probably the biggest issue I have, is because so many times I've missed the shot because just the lens and the camera didn't respond. And I was using it on the X-H2S, which is the best autofocus system on an APS-C Fuji at the moment. Will I get rid of it? I don't think I will, because the image quality is that good that under the right setting and with the right approach, this lens is definitely very usable. Of course it is. Now, would I recommend it? Well, if you love to shoot at night, if you want, the most out of focus background possible and an amazing image quality, then yeah, it's definitely, easily recommendable, right? If you want the fastest lens, if you want to shoot, fast moving subjects and you're moving around yourself a lot, or most of your photography is during the day, then it's definitely not worth it in my opinion. For that, the 50 f2 is a much better purchase. Yeah, in my opinion at least anyway. Well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. There will be a full blog on the 56 f1.2. If it's out before this video, I will link it somewhere below. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so basically what's happening is one of the final trains for today will be coming very soon. So basically everyone is panicking, trying to get somewhere, or so they don't miss the last train or two. This is wild. Make sure you have zip pockets, is all I can say. If you're claustrophobic, this is not the place for you.